11 years ago, Britain voted to take part in the war in Afghanistan alongside the USA and other countries. Since then, this country has spent £17 billion on this war. US people have paid even more. And the result, 11 years later, 2,000 US soldiers died, many hundreds of British soldiers have died, many thousands of Afghan people have died, and it's become a laboratory for first world military methods against the people of a poor country. Drones, drone aircraft, directed from shelters in the Midwest, are killing people in Afghanistan and across the border in Pakistan. This is a war of the first world against the third world. It's a war on behalf of the military establishment and the arms companies against the very poorest people in the world. There is no way forward for the West other than to leave Afghanistan as quickly as possible. No more deaths, no more killing, no more bombing. Stop.
He signed on the line, he signed allegiance to the Queen, and he went where our politicians sent him. And they've been sent by our politicians as pawns in their game for whatever gain. There's a lot of innocent people being killed. I also worry about, it's not just about us that have lost sons and daughters, it's about the injured that are coming home. They're broken in body and they're broken in mentally, and my heart goes out to them. And every time on the news when they say another soldier has been killed, the next of kin have been told, my heart goes out to them, because I know the devastation that it has caused, and I know that mums in this country, mums in Afghanistan, wherever, I know how that feels. And if he brings them home as soon as possible to stop even one family feeling like we do, then it's worth it.
I didn't like him being in the army. I hated what he had to do, but he chose it. Unfortunate, but what we really need now are the troops home. We need to make sure their lives are safe. We've got to make sure the American troops don't get killed anymore, and mainly the Afghanis. I want the troops home, because if we stay to 2015, at least another 100 British troops will be killed, and I wouldn't like to be David Cameron and have to answer to the families of the last man killed out there.
So I'll just mention just one of them, which is a particularly harrowing death that doesn't appear amongst the statistics. And that's a sergeant who was shot twice, survived that, involved in 2 other explosions, and then had the nightmare experience of seeing his best friend have 3 of his limbs blown off. And he held him and watched the life drain from his eyes. And that terrible nightmare experience was what killed this young sergeant, because he came home and with the best attention, with the best help, with a fine family, with psychiatric help for him, he took his life in January of this year. There's no reason why our troops should not be home by Christmas. The Canadian Parliament discussed the matter, so did the Dutch, and they brought their troops home. The British people want our troops brought home from this war impossible.
Let's just remember we're still fighting this war. It's not on the front pages anymore because we're all kind of embarrassed about it. The government's embarrassed about it. They can't pull out because they'll lose face. But what I'd like to say, if it ever gets through to Mr. Cameron, is that I think it would show great moral courage to pull out. And in fact, far from losing face, I think he would gain huge respect.
Our message today to David Cameron is very simple. Mr. Cameron, you know that you are going to quit Afghanistan. You have told us that the troops will be out of Afghanistan by 2014. That means that every single soldier that loses their lives, every single Afghan that loses their lives from this moment forward is needless, senseless, pointless bloodshed, because you know that you have lost. You know that you are going to end this war. You know, because you are already in negotiation with the Taliban, that you are going to hand over government of Afghanistan to the very people you told us that this war would defeat. Stop the sham. Stop the lies. Stop the murder. Bring the troops home now. That is the very, very simple message to David Cameron today. You are needlessly pointlessly spilling the blood of British troops and Afghan civilians who are entirely innocent. Stop it. Quit Afghanistan now. Bring the troops home by Christmas.